welcome back to English class. In our previous class, we discussed reading the list unit 6. Okay, that's a poem on My Shadow, written by Robert Louis Stevenson, and he was a Scottish poet, and we came to know about his works and his birth and death also, dates of his birth date and death date also. Okay, now we came to know a little about him and about that poem also. Now today we are going to comprehend that poem. We are going to answer the questions that have been asked in the textbook. Okay, now first question is which line in the the first question is, which line in the first stanza tells that the speaker and the shadow are alike? The speaker and the shadow are alike. Which line in the first stanza tells that the speaker and the shadow are alike? Now that line, that this line, that he is very, very like me, from the heels up to the head. This line tells about. Okay. Now let's right answer. You could see the board as big now. Could you see? Yes, I hope so. Yeah, you could see now. Yeah, let's go this one. The first answer, that is, he is, start with inverted comma. You could start, he is very, very. He is very, very like me. He is very, very like me from the heels up to the head. From the heels up to the head. From the heels up to the head. This line says that, this line in the first stanza tells that, this line in the first stanza tells that the speaker and the shadow are alike. Tells that the speaker tells that the speaker and the shadow are alike. The speaker and the shadow are alike. Alike means same. Alike means same. Meaning is same. Now see, he is very, very like me from the heels up to the head. This line in the first stanza tells that the speaker and the shadow are alike. Now let's go with the second question. The second question is, what does the shadow do when the speaker jumps into the bed? What does the shadow do when the speaker jumps into the bed? Okay. When the speaker jumps into the bed, the shadow jumps even before him. That the boy in that story, the very naughty boy, he looks like very naughty in the picture. Now, could you see the picture? I'm going to show you. This boy feels that before I jump to the bed, my shadow is jumping on my bed. Okay. So the answer is when the speaker jumps into bed. Now let's start the answer here. Shall we start there? Yeah. When the speaker jumps into bed, his shadow jumps even before him. The second answer is, when the speaker jumps into bed, the shadow jumps even before him. The shadow, what is that? Okay, his shadow jumps even before him. His shadow, we write his shadow. His shadow jumps even before him. His shadow jumps even before him is the answer. Okay, now let's go with the second one. Okay, first. The third one. First one we have finished. When the speaker jumps into bed, comma, his shadow jumps even before him is the second one. Yeah, now third question. Now let's see with the third question. Let's go with the third question. Now, what is the funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza? What is the funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza? That the shadow grows like very fast. Sometimes it grows faster than a child. It grows like a bomb, like Indian rubber ball, and sometimes it doesn't appear at all. That's the answer. Now let's go with according to the textbook line. The funniest thing mentioned in the passage is in the poem. What did they ask in the second stanza is about the way the speaker's shadow likes to grow. Now let's start like this. The funniest thing mentioned in the stress in the second stanza. The funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza is about the way the speaker's shadow is about the way the speaker's shadow funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza is about the way the speaker's shadow likes to grow. The way the speaker's shadow likes to grow. The way the speaker's shadow likes to grow. Sometimes it is very tall like an Indian rubber ball, and sometimes it is none. Sometimes it is like, they have given in this second stanza. Sometimes it shoots up. It is like that. Sometimes it is like an Indian rubber ball. It bounces like an Indian rubber ball, and sometimes it is none. And sometimes it is none. That's it. Sometimes it is none at all. Sometimes it is none at all. Now let's go with the third question once again. The question is what is the funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza? Now let's go. The funniest thing mentioned in the second stanza is about the way the speaker's shadow likes to grow. About the way the speaker's shadow likes to grow, full stop. Sometimes it is like an Indian rubber ball, and sometimes it is none at all. Sometimes it is none at all. You can write none at all. So doesn't appear at all. Sometimes it doesn't appear at all. I hope you could see this, right? I'm bringing somewhat front so that you could see. Do you see now? Clearly, I think, yes. Yeah. Now let's go with the fourth question. I'm searching the duster. Here it is, I think. Yeah, it's here. The fourth question, where is it? Yes, fourth question. What is that fourth question? Let's go with the fourth question. The fourth question is, what does the shadow, when does the shadow disappear? Why? When does it disappear and why? Okay. Now let's go with the answer. Now when it disappear, the shadow disappear. Does is there. So whenever does is there, you should use V5. What does is V5. Do, did, done, doing, does. V5. So your answer should also be V5. Like, what is the question? The shadow disappears. When does it disappear? The shadow disappears. V5 of disappear, disappears. The shadow disappears. When there is no sun or moon. The shadow disappears because only through the sun rays or through the moonlight the shadow appears, the shadow forms, okay? Shadow forms. That's why the shadow disappears when there is no sun or no moon. Okay, when there is no sun or no moon. And then you could say, even when it appears now, you could say, and when the light falls on persons and the things, their shadows are formed. And when there is no light, the shadows are not formed. You can write that also. When there is no light, when there is no light, the shadows are not formed. And when there is no light, the shadows are not formed. Yeah. Okay. Now see, the shadow disappears when there is no sun or moon. When there is no light, the shadows are not formed. During these situations, you cannot find your shadows at all. Now let's go with the fifth question. Now what is the fifth question? Let's read the fifth question, and that question is, what does the shadow do when the speaker gets up before the sun? According to that boy, what does the shadow do when the speaker gets up before the sunrise? Okay. When the speaker gets up before the sun, when the speaker gets up before the sunrise, the shadow will be sleeping. The shadow sleeps. The shadow is still asleep in bed like a child who is tired and looks as if they want to sleep. Okay, you can write like that. As a sleepy head, you can also write. When the speaker gets up before the sun, let's start like this. When the speaker gets up before the sun, when the speaker gets up before the sun, write sun always capital before the sun. The shadow The shadow, or you could write, is the shadow is still asleep in bed. Asleep in bed like a sleepy head child, like a sleepy head, like a child. We'll write in the bracket sleepy head child. Means one who wants to sleep all the time. Like asleep in bed like a like a child, a sleepy head child you can write. Okay, like a sleepy head they have given, right? Like a child, completely child. Okay, the next question. Why does the speaker call the shadow a lazy little fellow? The speaker calls the shadow a lazy little fellow because he still sleeps in the bed. He still sleeps in the bed like a tired child when the speaker gets up. He still sleeps in the bed like a tired child when the speaker gets up. That way you can write down. Okay. Let's go here with the sixth answer. Sixth one. The speaker calls the shadow a lazy little fellow because a lazy little fellow because he still sleeps in when speaker gets up. He still sleeps in bed when speaker gets up. He still sleeps in bed when speaker gets up. You could see, I think. Yeah, the last question, I think, seventh one. How old do you think the speaker is? Is or she angry or stupid? Now, let me show you. He or she they are giving. Now, see here. Let's take this boy. Like he is like 9 years or 9 to 10 years old. We'll write. Okay, 9 to 10 years old. How old? The question is, how old do you think the speaker is? I think the speaker is 9 to 10 years old. 9 to 10 years old. I think the speaker would be like could be like because we are guessing it. I think the speaker is a little child of like that. You can start even someone. I think the speaker. Could be a child of 9 to 10 years old. 9 to 10 years old. And next question is he playful or angry? He is playful. He is a playful. Is he playful? What is the question? Angry or stupid? You should see the mood of this boy now. He is very playful. So you could say that poem says that he is playful. You can write he is very playful. He is very playful. Yeah. That's the last question. I think the speaker would be a child of 9 to 10 years old. He is very playful. Okay, and I hope you have followed this one. writing question and answers. Now, sixth one is here and seventh one. And that's all for today's video comprehension part. Let's go in our next video. We are going to discuss the Unit 6 reading C. That is, let's see what is it. Okay, and this is about Gulliver Travels. Gulliver's Travels. Gulliver's Travels. This is very interesting story, and you have heard or read already about Gulliver in your primary classes. And once again, we have in Unit C, Unit 6 Reading C, we have a lesson called Gulliver's Travels. And in our next video, we are going to read and know and discuss about Gulliver. That's all for today's video. Bye bye for now. Have a nice time.